Hey everyone, Mr. Kaczynski here, working through IXL's Algebra 1 skills, section double B. In my last video, we solved quadratic equations using square roots. That's not always possible, so today we're going to introduce this concept of the zero product property, which is definitely one of the most useful properties in all of algebra. It states that if you multiply one thing times another and they equal zero, that either A equals 0 or B equals 0. So if you multiply two things by each other and one of them equals 0, and their product is 0, then one of those two factors is 0. Very simple. I mean, I can just tell you the answer to this right now, and then I'll show you why. W is either -7 or +8. -7 or +8. All right? If this times this, w plus 7 times w minus 8 equals 0, then one of those two things has got to be 0. So either w plus 7 equals 0, and if I solve that equation by subtracting 7 from both sides, I get -7, or w minus 8 equals 0, and if I solve that equation by adding 8 to both sides, I get w equals 8. Very simple. So let's do it again. P minus 8 times p plus 5 equals 0. That means p either equals 8 or it equals -5. It's just that simple. Because 8 minus 8 is 0, and 0 times anything is 0. And -5 plus 5 is 0, and 0 times whatever this is over here would still be 0. All right. Well, they get a little bit tougher. I know that one of my answers is 8. I'm sorry, because u minus 8 equals 0, so that when I add 8 to both sides, I'll get w equals 8. We probably do that one mentally. And then the other one is a little bit tougher, but I know that this factor, 5u plus 7, equals 0. So if I subtract 7 from both sides, I get -7. And if I divide both sides by 5, I get -7/5. That's the other answer. So two answers to this quadratic equation, either 8 or -7/5. We are leaving our answers as improper fractions in simplest form, so -7/5. But there's even shortcuts to that. I mean, I know that the answer to this is that r equals -3 or r equals -5/6. That's the answer. I mean, zero product property can literally be that easy. I don't think we need to show a lot of work. Obviously, we know why r could be -3 because the factor r plus 3 could be 0. And if we subtract 3 from both sides, there's where that -3 comes from. Or 6r plus 5 could be 0. So when I subtract 5 from both sides, I get 6r equals -5. Divide both sides by 6, and I get -5/6. All right. Again, I don't think there's a lot of need to show this work, but maybe sometimes just to be careful, like this one. All right. So -5y plus 4. If that's 0, then the entire left side would equal 0. So if you subtract 4 from both sides, you get -4 on the right. And then if you divide both sides by -5, -4 divided by -5 is +4/5. Okay. And then the 6y, this portion, this factor right here, would give us a solution of y equals -5/6. Just got to take the opposite of this value and divide by the coefficient of y right there. So 6 times -5/6 would be -5, and -5 plus 5 would be 0. 0 times anything is 0. One more. Yeah, this one's kind of interesting. Okay, either 8t is 0 or t plus 1 is 0. If -8t is 0 and you divide both sides by -8, you get t equals 0. So that's one possible solution to this equation. If t plus 1 is 0, and then you subtract 1 from both sides, you get t could be -1. So t could be 0 or t could be -1. So we just did 6 examples of the zero product property under 5 minutes. Very simple property, but very important. We'll use it a lot to solve quadratic equations and do other things actually with quadratic equations. Good luck.